Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today, if you have a vintage film camera like this is my Leica M4, this is 55 years old, and if you've ever wanted to use flash with your vintage film camera, you may have some difficulty if you don't have a hot shoe. This does not have a hot shoe. It is a cold shoe. It is just an accessory shoe. There are no electrical contacts in this shoe. It does have PC ports here on the back, PC sync cable ports. So if you have an old camera like this that doesn't have a hot shoe, and forget about even through the lens flash metering, just no hot shoe whatsoever, you may wonder, okay, what kind of flash can I get? A lot of modern flashes don't have ports for PC sync cables, so it's difficult to even trigger your flash. There are all sorts of different options, all sorts of different hoops you could try to jump through to find a flash that will work. There are some modern options that do have PC sync cable ports that can connect to an old camera like this, but they're almost all entirely manual and kind of expensive for what they are. So I have been looking for a vintage compact flash. I wanted it to be compact, something that I could easily just throw in my camera bag, and not something that was going to be very expensive. And I also wanted it to have at least some auto ability. Now, I did have a flash for my Nikon FE2. This does have through the lens metering for flash output, and so I got this Nikon SB24 Speedlight. It is a nice vintage Nikon flash, one that would have been very expensive back in the day, but I think I got this for about $30 or something. It works great. It can do full auto mode if you wish through the lens metering with your camera. You can also do PC sync if you want. I have this cable on here because I was trying to use it with my Leica originally. You don't need this when you're connecting it to your Nikon FE2 or any other camera with a hot shoe or through the lens metering. And this is great, but it's big, it's bulky, it requires 4 AA batteries, and even though I could connect this, you'll see how it looks, to my little Leica M4. Let's get it on there. I won't even connect the PC sync cable right now. It's very large, it looks ridiculous, and if I actually had batteries in this, I would have to cover the hot shoe, or not the hot shoe, the cold shoe. Here, either cover that with tape or actually probably more usefully cover these contacts on the bottom of this with some electrical tape, because if they make contact with the metal on this cold shoe, it will screw everything up and start triggering the flash. So this doesn't really work. It's too big, it's too bulky, works great for my Nikon FE2, but not great for my Leica M4. And the Leica is something that I carry with me all the time, and there are times though when maybe I'm indoors and it's very dark, and with a lens, this has a maximum aperture of f2, and I'm usually shooting 400 speed film, it's still not gonna quite cut it in certain darker indoor areas. And so I wanted a flash that I could bring with me that wasn't too bulky, that I could have all the time. And I found the perfect one. It is this, the SUNPAK AUTO 101. Now, many of you will probably have heard of SUNPAK flashes in the past. They were a Japanese company. I don't even know when this was made exactly. By the look of it, I would say late 70s, early 80s. I've been trying to find more information on it online, but you'll see SUNPAK flashes all over the place on eBay. They have all sorts of different models. This particular one is a thyristor flash. So it has some auto capabilities, which I really liked. It also has a PC sync cable, and it's actually attached to the flash, and it fits in this little groove. I'll show you all of this a little bit more closely later. But you can take it out like this and then stow it away when you're not using it. You can take out quite a bit of cable, plenty to actually mount it on the camera. So if I put this on, and then I'm gonna plug it into the PC sync port here, I just take out enough of the cable to fit in, and it's really clean, really nice. You can see that it's very compact on the camera. It doesn't add a ton of weight to the camera. It's not super secure in the cold shoe because there's nothing to tighten down on this flash, but I've never had it try to fall out or anything. You do have to try to get it out of the cold shoe. So it works perfectly fine, and it triggers perfectly fine through the PC sync port that I have on the back of my Leica M4. And I love it. It works great. Takes 2 AA batteries, as opposed to the 4 that my Nikon SB24 takes. And when I connect it to the camera and plug in the PC sync port, and then it has this little cover in the front. Again, I will show this to you more closely. If you uncover this, that goes into auto mode. And with this having 400 speed film in the camera, there is a little chart on the back here. It shows you to set your aperture to f11, which I will do. And then I will set my film speed to the flash sync speed here, which is about 1/55. And now if I turn it on in the back, you can hear that little Sam Fisher splinter cell sound as it powers on. The light in the back lights, and you know that you are able to take a picture. I will sacrifice one frame to showing you how this works. Let's see, we will focus on the camera. There you go. It fires. Now, I'll show you all this a little bit more closely. We'll go over what maybe the guide number is. I couldn't find any actual information, but you can sort of figure out the guide number by using the manual chart that's on the back of this lens. It seems like the highest range is maybe 50 feet, 49 feet, but even that is stretching it a little bit. This is something for working a little bit more closely. You're not gonna be wanting to take pictures of things from 60 feet away or 20 meters away with this lens. It's smaller, it's compact. It's still pretty powerful though for the size. Trying to find a flash that combines all of these criteria. Compact, with some auto capability, PC sync port, and affordable. It's kind of difficult. I was having trouble finding anything that checked all of those boxes, but the SUNPAK AUTO 101 is pretty perfect. Now, if you cover this little port up in the front, you can go just into full manual mode if you wish. Again, I'll show you this chart here in a minute that shows all the different apertures and film speeds and distances. It's all in feet in this one, so I'm assuming this was made for the American market. But I have just been shooting it entirely with the thyristor, opening that port, setting my camera to f11, and my film speed to 1/55 for the flash sync speed, and it's been working great. So here's the flash. You can see the very, very simple design. You have SUNPAK AUTO 101. There's no zoom capability or anything with the actual flash element. What you see is what you get as far as that goes. You can see this little port in the front here. If you open that, that engages auto mode, quote auto mode, and it's using a thyristor circuit to measure the light that's coming back, bouncing back to the flash. So it's kind of a rudimentary auto mode, but it works. I'll show you a couple examples of photos I've taken. On the back here, the light is still on, but let's turn this on again. It's powering up, and you'll see this little chart. This has, for auto mode here in red, it'll show film speed and then the suggested aperture. And that's basically how I've been using this. I'm usually using a 400 speed film, Kodak Tri-X. Aperture listed here is f11, and that's what I do, and I've been getting perfectly good results for that. But then they also have the chart here if you're using manual mode, and if you are going into manual mode, you want to close this port in the front, and then here you'll have your distances. You've got 3 feet, 4.5 feet, 6 feet, 6 to 10 feet, 15 feet, and then you'll show, with your different film speeds, the apertures that you should be using at those distances. It seems like the guide number on here is about 49.5 feet. So if you divide that guide number by these different apertures, you will get basically the distances that they list here. So that seems to be what the guide number is. And again, it's not a super powerful flash for taking photos at great distance, but if you're fairly close to your subject, and you need a little extra light and you want a compact flash like this that has this wonderful little PC sync cable that's built in. I love this. That's affordable. And it's just great for a vintage camera that does not have a hot shoe. So you can just pull this out and plug it into your PC sync cable port, and if you don't need it, it slots away, which is really nice. I love the fact that you're never going to lose the cable, you're never going to find yourself needing a cable. If you can compare it in size to this Nikon SB24 speedlight, you will see that the Nikon is significantly larger. It's much heavier, and this flash is great. I love this flash and I use it quite a bit. But for something that I'm going to carry with me all the time, this is just so much more practical, and it only takes 2 batteries as opposed to the 4 batteries that the Nikon takes. And just size-wise, if I put it on my Leica M4, you can see it just matches this camera really well. It fits the camera really well. It's kind of the perfect size for this camera. So, kind of a quicker video about the SUNPAK AUTO 101. I have found it to be the perfect flash for my vintage Leica M4. Any film camera that doesn't have a hot shoe, that does have a PC sync port, and if you want a compact, versatile flash with a little bit of auto capability, I think the SUNPAK is great. I probably shouldn't have made this video because now people are going to start buying them up on eBay, but I am a huge fan of this flash, and I think it could work for you if you have a vintage camera like this. Thanks so much for watching. I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. And no, I'm not going to take another picture. I don't want to waste a frame.